Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks again for joining the 980s podcast, hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson, founder and CEO of 9i Capital Group. Thank you guys for joining us. As I always say, subscribe to the channel. As I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@9icapitalgroup.com. Send us your questions, or you can go to the website at www.9icapitalgroup.com. Schedule an appointment. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And today we have a wonderful, wonderful guest, the SHEGONE man himself. Today, we're talking baseball with Jeff Frye. Let's get it. We have the SHEGONE man himself, Jeff Frye. You know what? I was going to introduce you as former major leaguer, but you know what I'm going to do? We are major leaguers, my friend. There's no former about it. We may not be playing, but we're still major leaguers. So major leaguer, Jeff Frye, thanks for joining the 980s podcast today, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Kevin. I appreciate it. And you're right, man. I mean, one day in the big leagues, you're a big leaguer the rest of your life.
Exactly. Doesn't matter how you get there or how long you get there, as long as you get there. And it's a beautiful experience, man. So let's start there, my friend. Let's start for the first day. And I know we'll get to some other things in a second, but let's talk about the big leagues. So you get your call up. Tell me about that day. Tell me about your day when you hey, Jeff, you're going to the big leagues. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I'll never forget that day. Yeah. Obviously, it was, I was playing for Oklahoma City 89ers, and we were in Louisville.
Okay.
It was a morning, and I had a roommate, Bobby Brower, who had been in the big leagues for 3 or 4 years, and he was back down AAA. And you know, when you're in the hotels in the minor leagues, a lot of times you call down and get a do not disturb, or you take your phone off the hook so we can sleep till noon. You know.
Yeah.
So this day, for whatever reason, we left the phone on the hook, and it rang at 9 a.m, which was unusual. I pick it up, and it's my manager, Tommy Thompson.
Yeah.
Exact words. He goes, "You're not going to the AAA All-Star game." And I said, "I'm not." He goes, "No, you're going to another level, big boy." That's exactly how he said it. And I was looking across the room at Bobby Brower, and I didn't say a word.
Yeah.
I was just looking at him. And he goes, "Come up to my room. I'll give you the details." And I looked at Brower, and he goes, "You're going to the big leagues." He goes, "And you're not coming back either." So I was like, holy crap. So I go up to Tommy's room. He tells me, the details. I got to go to the field. We got to call the clubby because he's not used to going to the field at, 10 o'clock on a day game.
Yeah.
And so we got to call the clubby. He meets us there. Me and Brian Bohannon both are getting called up, get our stuff. They take us to the airport. We fly to DFW, land at 5. There's a van driver there to pick us up, take us to Arlington Stadium, get there at 5:30. Game's at 7:05. I walk in, see everybody. They show me my locker. They say, "Hey, if you hurry up, you can maybe get out there for some batting practice." And I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be able to unpack my stuff and get out there for batting practice." I said, "I'll just try and get ready for infield." So infield was 6:10. And they said, "Go check out the lineup." I walk over to the lineup, and I look, and I'm number 51. That was my number in spring training. So I'm number 51, leading off, playing second. And the bottom of the lineup, number 34, Nolan Ryan's pitching for us that night.
Ooh, don't make a mistake.
Yeah, it's like, man, I don't even get to let this settle in yet. I just right in the fire. So yeah, it's probably better that I didn't get a chance to sit around and think about it and make myself nervous. I was just right in there.
Yeah, man. And you mentioned Arlington Stadium. That's taking us way back with the bleachers, old school, with they had the advertisements and stuff. Mm-hmm. Dude, I remember Arlington Stadium. That place, woo, it was a definitely it definitely wasn't the ballpark in Arlington. I tell you that.
It was like, man, I'm in the big leagues. This is it. I was like, this is not very spectacular, But fortunately, a couple of years later, they built the ballpark in Arlington, and I got to play in there, so that was great.
And let's talk about that, man. The ballpark in Arlington. I can't believe that Arlington actually built another stadium like right next door. And the stadium right now, I'm sorry, but I've never been there. But it looks ugly. It looks ugly as hell to me. And baseball, yeah, it's hot. You play outside. It is what it is. You and I have that same mentality. Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, minor leaguers play outside and it's 110 degrees. So why can't you? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's about the fans. I get it. But beautiful ballpark. I played there a couple of times myself with the Oakland A's and the Yankees. And yeah, man, ballpark in Arlington, I can't believe it's just still there. And I think is it a like a quasi soccer / whatever kind of facility? What kind of a facility? What do they do with that?
I think it's all multi-purpose now. They have soccer in there. They had the XFL in there.
Yeah.
Then they have, they can turn it into a baseball field. And I mean, it was only there for 25 years and it was still, an incredible stadium. When they first went up, it was like one of the best, maybe the best in baseball. And, some good Ranger history there. And I've been to the new stadium a few times. I've been to 2 games the last 2 years and I get free tickets. So that's how I feel about the game. But the new stadium is nice because of the, the air conditioning, I guess. But, it is ugly on the outside. And, I much prefer going to a baseball game, sitting outside. But this heat in Texas, man, I don't know. It just seems to keep getting worse and worse. I can't even go outside hardly anymore.
Man, it's
in Maryland.
Yeah, it's definitely bad. And you're listening to the 9 Innings podcast with Kevin Thompson. We have Jeff Frye on the call today. We're about to get into some things here. So, Jeff, tell me about, because I know you transitioned from baseball. You became an agent for a little while. Are you still in that world?
Yeah, not so much anymore. Once my last big league client, after 9 years, let me go with a 1:14 phone call. I broke my heart, and I was just like, man, I'm just too nice. I'm too loyal for this line of work. I just can't do that to people.
Yeah.
And so I really kind of transitioned. I'm doing more of the keynote speaking and traveling around doing, camps and clinics and stuff. So I'm enjoying what I'm doing now.
It's more of a less of a cutthroat type of deal, and you're putting your heart out there and you're doing what you want to do. But it's just what they call servant leadership, and that's what you're providing right now in regards to these kids. That's awesome what you're doing and going around to these kids, talking to them about playing baseball, talking to them about life, man. And I truly appreciate that. Another thing, this is the hot topic, the SHEGONE moniker. Like, what? So tell me how you came up with that. Like, this is the financial side of things. So you have a business like the SHEGONE thing. Tell me about how you came up with the SHEGONE phenomenon.
Yeah, it was an accident, Kevin. I'll be honest. When I was playing in the big leagues, I was a big fan of the White Sox announcers because they would say things that a lot of the other announcers wouldn't say.
Yeah.
Wimpy, they'd say stuff like, grab some bench or he go home, some silly stuff like that. Other guys wouldn't say. And so after I made my first video, like 12-second video, and I was imitating a kid that I saw on, I don't know if it was Twitter or what, but and my son videoed me and I said, oh, the light bulb went on. And then I just posted it and, just joking around. I hadn't spent much time on social media, but I knew that I wanted to grow my keynote speaking business and I had to get on social media to do it. And so I posted that video and I was going to bed and I looked at my direct messages on Twitter and I really hadn't hardly even used Twitter at that point very much. Yeah. And all these people were coming after me and threatening me. And then I got a couple like voice recordings threatening me and people were sending me pictures of my ex-wife and my kids. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I couldn't believe it. And I was like, what did I do here? So I was like, well, these people don't know me very well. I'm about to make another video. And at the end of that video, I just none of my videos are scripted or anything. I just ad lib. If I mess up, I'll start over. And I just hit the ball and I said, SHEGONE, like that. And then a bunch of people said, you should hashtag SHEGONE. I was like, all right, what does that mean? You should do this. You should do this. And they're like, we need SHEGONE shirts. We need SHEGONE hats and all this kind of stuff. And that just kind of how it all happened. That's over 3 years ago.
Dude, I love it, man. I love it. And you go after some people. I don't get it. people think that hitting is there's different styles and all this other stuff. At the end of the day, and you and I believe this, there's certain things good hitters do well. All good hitters do well. It doesn't matter if you're starting with your foot in the air or your butt's on top of your head or whatever it is. There's certain things that good hitters do well, and that's timing, rhythm, getting into a hitting position. Now, all the other stuff I think is just kind of like, hogwash like you do. But at the end of the day, people don't take into account that there's certain things that all good hitters do, and they're trying to muddy the waters like, well, you can do it this way, you can do it that way. And it's just like, you got the snap thing, and you got the people doing crazy drills. Like, when you see that kind of stuff, how angry does that make you?
It really just makes me laugh. And it's really kind of sad when I look at it and I say, there's so many people out there that really have no idea that they think this is how you do it. Mm-hmm. And I just know that these people that are taking their kids to these instructors that are teaching this nonsense think they're doing right by their kids, or think they're doing everything they can to help their kids. But in the long run, it's going to hurt their kids because they're going to fail. And that's what I'm trying to do, is educate people, educate parents. And you and I both know that we couldn't just watch the best players we played with and hit like them and be as good as them. And that's what they're selling. Do what the greats do. Do what this guy does. You can't just do what Aaron Judge and Mike Trout and Juan Soto do. Those guys are the best of the best of the best. And, I wish I could have just copied Nomar or Juan Gonzalez or Todd Helton and been as good as they were. And that's the thing, is like, if guys like us that were good enough to play at that level can't do it, how's a 12-year-old going to do it?
Oh my gosh.
And so I think it's just, in the long run, it's hurting these kids. And, baseball's a game of failure, man. And when you start failing all the time, it's no fun. You're not going to want to play it anymore.
I used to watch highlights of Barry Bonds on the plane, and I was like, man, what am I doing? What am I doing? This guy is up here, man. Like, the way he can swing the bat, the way he transitions his weight, the quickness of his hands. I just don't have that. And I'm okay, because I'm Kevin Thompson. I got something, but I ain't got that. And it's the same thing with Manny Ramirez. I used to watch on the right-hand side. I was like, you know what? He's got something that I don't have, and I need to stick with what I know and what I got. So you're absolutely right. The main issue with a lot of these people is they want to try to copy something Judge is doing, that he may be doing something that gives him a feel. Not necessarily that, he may be doing that, but that may just be giving him a feel of getting to a right position.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 6'6", 240 pounds or whatever. You're not that. So what you need to do is concentrate on the basics, getting the bat head to the zone as quickly as possible. And that's not what they're teaching.
No, and that's the funny thing about Little Richie, when he's just constantly showing videos of Aaron Judge. Oh, and to me, it's just getting worse and worse, because, who else have you taught to hit like this, supposedly, that's having success? Nobody. But we're going to use Aaron Judge, who, by the way, is 6'8" or 6'7", 280. Yeah. And so I know for a fact, I talked to a friend of mine that works in the Yankees organization. He says, we talked about Judge, how he slices balls. He mishits balls, but he's so strong that he can hit it at 400 feet. Because he has leverage. This leverage. It's all about physics, man. And not a 5'5" kid can't hit like a 6'6", 6'7" kid, man. This is ridiculous. No, and if we tried to hit the ball in the air when we were coming up, we would have never got out of A ball. Oh my God. Hey. He wouldn't even be talking to me right now. Who's Kevin Thompson? Who the hell is this guy? Well, I had a coach in A-ball. That every time, he was the first base coach. And I led the league in hitting that year. And he said, every time I hit a fly ball, he yelled at me. He goes, damn it. It's like, hit the ball on the ground on the line. Do not hit it in the air. You're not strong enough to hit it over the fence. So I tried not to. Yeah, man. But so let's talk about that. Like, I don't watch much baseball anymore. To be honest with you, I watched a lot while I was playing because I didn't get a lot of playing time, just to be honest. I got a little bit over a year in the big leagues, and I did a lot of sitting. I played about 40 or 50, 60 games, but I did a lot of okay, so I did a lot of sitting, and it made me feel a certain way.
So I'm not going to go into that. But at the end of the day, I haven't watched baseball since probably I probably watched a combined 9 innings of baseball for the last decade. So I don't know who's on the Rangers. I see some people coming in and all of that, but I just baseball to me, it was never my favorite sport, but it was a sport that I enjoyed because one thing I love about baseball, and I will always love about baseball, is hitting. It made me feel comfortable. It made me feel in a good place, and I just love to hit. So that's one thing about baseball that can always bring me back.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about like what got you into this sport? Like what made you fall in love with it?
Well, my uncles played growing up, and they were playing softball when I was a little boy, and you know they would take me to my aunt and uncles would take me to the Giants games and the A's games, and so all we ever wanted to do was play baseball outside, me and my cousin, and we'd play, you know, wiffle ball. We'd play with a tennis ball, a rubber ball, hard ball at the schoolyard, or if it was we couldn't go outside, we played Nerf ball in the house, and we just were pretending like we were our heroes.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. It's all I wanted to do was play baseball. And I would actually go in my grandmother's house. I lived with my grandmother growing up, and I had a radio that I would get an extension cord, go all the way through the kitchen, out there by the driveway when the Giants were playing, and I would put the radio on, listen to the Giants game, and try and emulate every play that's happening. Oh, Vida Blue's in the wind up and he's doing the pitch, and there's a ground ball, and I throw it, I get a ground ball, and I try to throw it in the square, you know, that was on the side of the house. And I just loved it. And, you know, I really just love playing all sports.
So baseball, like where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
California.
Oh, you're a Cali kid.
I was born in Oakland, but never lived in Oakland. I grew up in Hayward and San Leandro, and then I moved to Oklahoma when I was 16 to a town of 2,000 people.
Gotcha. So Oakland, man, I'll tell you my experience with Oakland. Nothing against Oakland, just I couldn't live there, man. I'm sorry, it's not for me.
Yeah. Me either. I didn't like it there either.
Oh my God, dude, that stadium is disgusting. I'm sorry, man. The Oakland A's stadium, like, oh, what is this crap, man? It smelled first. I'm not saying anything bad, but it smelled a certain way. And I was like, this is not. And I'll tell you this story. I swear to you, and you probably experienced this as well, whether it be with the New York Yankees or the Oakland A's or some lower quote unquote lower market team. It's a difference. It's an absolute difference. I go into the Yankees locker room. It's full and vibrant. There's energy there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then my first day I get to Oakland, and we're playing here in Texas, actually. We're playing against the Rangers. I get here, it's empty. I'm like, what's going on? No energy. Just like they only have one person following the team, one beat writer following the team. I was like, what is this? Like I was under the illusion that all the major leagues was the New York Yankees, and that's across the board. But I learned really quickly that no, sir, Bob, not every organization is the same. So tell me about your experience with your multiple, like how many organizations did you play with? And tell me about your experiences with, the most professional organization versus, maybe not so much.
Well, I came up with the Rangers in 92, drafted by the Rangers in 88. And, when I got to Texas, being my first time in the big leagues, I thought this is what it is, but, I happened to share a locker room with some, Nolan Ryan, Pudge Rodriguez, Ruben Sierra, Juan Gonzalez, Palmero, Dean Palmer. There were some horses there,
Yeah.
And then so to me, it was kind of, I just kept my mouth shut, didn't say nothing, and just enjoyed my time there. But then when I went to Boston, and I was like, wait a minute, this is different.
It's different.
It's like, wait a minute. I remember I made an error in one of my very first games at second base when Roger Clemens was pitching.
Yeah.
And they booed me, and they were screaming, go back to Texas, Frye, you suck. My wife had to leave the game crying. And I was like, damn, this is different, and I was like, not too long after that, I went 4 for 4, and my fifth at bat, I lined out, and they gave me a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Then I got traded to the Rockies, and that was like country clubs, like no intensity or whatever. And then Toronto was the same. But Boston, the way I described Boston was compared to Texas and the other places. I said, in Texas, we could be losing 10-0, on a Sunday, and the crowd will go crazy, and that's because the Cowboys just scored a touchdown. We said, but in Boston, if we lose on a Wednesday night, half the city's going to work pissed off tomorrow because of life and death, and those Yankees, when the Yankees would come to Fenway, when you would walk through the tunnel, get to the dugout, and take the step on the field to go run, a couple sprints or play catch before the game, you could just feel the electricity in the air. And it was like, man, I want to play today. I'm so excited to play in this environment.
No doubt, my friend. Playing in those Yankees. I was in the game where we gave up back to back to back to back. Hey, and my buddy Chase was pitching. So sorry about that, Chase, but gave up 4 consecutive home runs. I was in the dugout like, whoa, first one was like, I think it was JD Drew, then Manny, then Ortiz, and then finished up with Veritek. I was like, and then they finally pull him out. And I was like, hey, man, this is what my buddy says to me. He says, Kevin, I've never done that before. He says, you know what? That's never happened before either. Oh my God. So I said, you're in the record books, my friend. It's all good. But
I can tell you, I know for a fact that it happened in 2001.
Yeah.
I don't know what year this was, but
this was in 2006. So yeah, it was a little bit later.
Okay. So in 2001, when I was playing for the Blue Jays, the day I hit for the cycle.
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes gave up 4 consecutive home runs, or 4 home runs in one inning.
Yeah.
Maybe not consecutive. So maybe but 4 home runs in 1 inning, and I happened to hit one of them, paint scraper that barely got over. But
hey, they all count. They all count. I don't care what they look like. They all count, my friend.
I don't know what my exit velocity was, but it went over.
Hey, if it wasn't over 100, man, it doesn't count. Apparently, right?
It's not a hard hit ball.
No, so hey, a couple more questions for you, man. Thank you for joining us on this 9 Innings podcast. We're about to get to some hard hitting topics. For example, what do you think about launch angle, exit velocity? The all that matters is you throw hard and all of that. Where's your mind on that? I know where it is, but I want you to say it.
Yeah, I think it's. I think we're valuing things that, or the guys running the game now are valuing things that aren't really that important. And sure, everybody as a hitter, we try to hit the ball hard every time.
Yeah.
I see people talking about, oh, it's all right. He hit the ball hard. It's like, no, it's not all right. His job was to move the runner over. So if he lines out to third and hits it 110 miles an hour and the guy's still in second, he didn't do his job. And so they want to glorify all these numbers and also talk about how they would rather you hit the ball hard than hit a blooper. I was like, there's not one guy playing the game right now that would rather line out than hit a blooper for a hit. Not one.
Not one.
But they want to act like, if you hit the ball hard, obviously whoever hits the ball the hardest the most often is going to hit for a higher average and more power. That's duh. And the launch angle stuff, I can't stand it, but these trying to pattern your swing to a certain launch angle so you'll hit more home runs. To me, how's that working for Joey Gallo?
Well, he'll run into something every now and then, right?
He's been swinging up his career batting average. This is his 8th year in the big leagues. His career batting average is under 200.
Well, I'll say he got 8 years. That's a good thing. That's at least he got.
He can hit a mile, and I feel bad because just think how good this guy could be if he could hit 250. And if he would try and hit the ball a mile high and just hit it hard. And I just don't understand how he had
220 even would have been. I mean, that's 20 points and that's less strikeouts. That's more hits.
Yeah.
So you brought this up, and this is one more thing. Remember last year they were doing the shifts? I don't know what year it was. Was it the shifts or whatever?
Yeah.
How angry did that make you that a professional hitter could not just have a quote unquote, I'll say this, a shit swing and go the other direction? Like if I'm left-handed and they give me the whole left side of the field, I should be able to play pepper with that baseball and get a hit 9.9 out of 10 times. So when I saw that, I was like, I can't watch this crap, So
me either, man. That pissed me off because I was like, okay, so we're going to make the game easier for the best players in the world because they refuse to make adjustments.
Yeah.
And that's not right. And the only thing that in my mind is I'm thinking about, how do these guys not make adjustments? And I'm thinking they're being told by the people upstairs, don't worry about it. We don't want you to stay back and go the other way with 2 strikes. We want you to continue with your A swing and try and hit the ball hard in the air, because that's how you're going to produce more runs. Otherwise, I mean, I just don't understand. If somebody would have told me that, I'd have said, shut up, man. You never played. I got this. You didn't help me get here. I'm going to do what helped me get here. And that's with 2 strikes, changing my approach to put the ball in play and make something happen, put the pressure on the defense.
I was just looking at it and I was saying, oh my God, the whole left side of the infield is open. There's no way you can't get a hit right here. You can literally just give it like a softball swing and like just poof out there. And that's a base hit. But nobody did it. And I was watching the Atlanta Braves one day, and that one dude out, the second baseman, he did the same swing over and over and over. Like literally, like he had a big hole. It's like, why can't you just make the adjustment and you're a professional? And I just said, I just can't do it. I can't watch that crap, man. I'm not saying I was the best hitter out there, but I can make adjustments. I can literally make adjustments and make transitions to where I need to put the ball at certain times. It just frustrates me to the core.
Yeah, we had to do that stuff. And I know as the type of hitter I was, a line drive ground ball hitter, a kind of a table setter guy, that when I walked up to home plate, I checked the defense.
Yeah.
And if the shortstop was shading me up the middle, I try to hook one in the 6 hole, because if I make him move 2 steps over there, he's not throwing me out.
Yeah.
And on hit and run, especially, which was my bread and butter, was a hit and run. And I would watch the middle infielders when there's a runner on first to see who's cheating over, who's covering the base, if it's a right-handed hitter. That way, when I went up for a hit and run, I had a pretty good idea which one of the middle infielders was covering. And if it was the shortstop, I was going to try to pull a ball at the shortstop. I'd go out and try and hook it that way instead of just hitting a ground ball to second base.
Yeah, man. It's infuriating to say the least. And I know a lot of your SHEGONE brethren love what you do. I appreciate what you do, my friend. You spit knowledge to the community. You bring context and truth to the community. Man, thank you for all you do, Jeff. Thank you for your time today. I know we kind of talked a little bit about your game, talked a little bit about the history. Is there anything else Mr. Jeff Frye would like to leave the community with today?
Just that I think that, and I appreciate you saying that, Kevin, it's just, I think parents need to take a step back and realize that the odds of their kids playing in the major leagues are so slim that don't put so much pressure on your kids to perform at a high level. Let them be kids. Let them have fun. Let them ride bikes and climb trees and throw rocks and just be normal kids, and don't make them play baseball year round, because your dream for them is to be a professional baseball player, because the odds are not good. And I think a lot of these kids are being forced into these situations, and they're going to resent their parents for it. And the parents, I sat next to a kid on a flight to Connecticut the other day, and he looked like an athlete. And I say, hey, man, you play baseball? And he goes, yeah, I did. I said, what happened? He goes, I got a scholarship to go play baseball, but I was just so burnt out. My dad was so hard on me that I didn't even want to play anymore. And here's a kid with a baseball scholarship that his dad beat him down so much over the years that he didn't even enjoy it anymore and didn't want to play anymore. And that broke my heart for this poor kid, because he looked like Mike Trout. Who knows what this kid could have turned into, So I'd say, parents, let your kids be kids and have fun, and let them decide what they want to do with their lives. Don't decide for them.
Jeff Frye, not former major leaguer, but major leaguer, on the 9 Innings podcast. Thank you for your time today, my friend. Thank you for the knowledgeable words. I appreciate you, and God bless.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate you having me on, man.
You just heard Jeff Frye on the 9 Innings podcast, hosted by yours truly, Kevin Thompson. Like I always say, subscribe to the channel. Like I always say, go and get my book, MLB to CFP, live on Apple and Amazon. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at info@9icapitalgroup.com, or you can go to the website at www.9icapitalgroup.com. As you know, we're here to do what? Educate, empower, and engage. And today we talk to the SHEGONE Network. Jeff Frye, thank you for joining us. Stay humble, stay safe, and we'll see you again soon.